This is Mark Anthony with Mercury Time Price Analytics. Welcome to our end of day video update for Tuesday, September 15th for algorithmic trading of ES, NQ, and Bitcoin. A lot to talk about tonight. We're going to keep this video relatively short. What you see on our screen is the actual live chart that our members see during the day. Day trading algo top row center, swing trading algo over here, our amazing Saturn GT algo. NQ, our short cycle algos, long cycle matrix pivot. Want to talk about what happened on Sunday evening Globex, what happened Monday, what we saw today. Very tight trading range today. There's some things we're seeing that are a little bit concerning. So let's go to the screenshots. So here's our automated algorithm. It got long Sunday evening. Because our systems are based on time price metrics, when you have a gap up or down on Sunday Globex, you have to wait exactly 1 hour for the automated algo to resync, because when you think about what happens on Sunday evening Globex, in terms of time, it's literally the next tick after you closed on Friday. But price has changed, so the time mechanics need to get resynced. So when you get a gap like this, you have to wait exactly 1 hour. Shortly thereafter, it was about 7:12 on Sunday evening, algorithm triggered long. You had a real nice move into Monday end of day. Now let's talk about today. So in the morning, before the market opens, about 90 minutes before the market opens, we run our morning algorithms. We provide this data sheet for our members. Now, you don't worry about all these different levels, but this just gives you an idea of the depth of information we provide for our traders. So the levels that are highlighted are the key levels. And then what we do is we take that information and we overlay it on the price chart. And so this is an example of what you see now. I don't have the algorithmic oscillators weaving in and out of the chart, but this gives you an idea of the setup. You get this in the morning. So we take all those levels, we overlay them on the chart. This is the wide view screenshot that we sent to our members this morning. And here is the close-up. So we get this out to our members. You can see where the levels are, get an idea of what potentially is setting up for the day. Now, one of the things that we noted right off the bat, swing trend pivot up here at 34.05. The X5 institutional pivots, they're called X5 because they're relevant for 5 days. Then the oldest one drops off the chart. The X5 pivot, which is one of the key institutional algo pivots, runs on a cycle that's over 8 hours per bar. The institutions aren't sitting there having their machines trade off of 5-minute charts. So you have these really long algos, and we overlay those on the chart, even though this specific chart is for day trading. But you need to know where these big action levels for the institutions are located. So we have this level up here at 34.05. When you see clusters of these fixed horizontal algo pivots, that tells you that those are areas that are going to be highly contested. Daily bull bear pivot 82.53. We came down and tested that at the end of the day. Back test pivot at 33.79, and we'll take a look at what that looked like at the end of the day. So you start off with this information. This is the data sheet that we provide, but we put the levels on the chart, so our traders don't have to do that. But this is end of day. Now, we got short early in the day. Look at how many times you came up into 34.05. 1, 2, 3. I mean, you know what? 8, 9, 10 times. I had to leave the desk at about 1:30 to pick up my son at work. Got back a little bit before 2, and this is what we expected to happen at the end of the day. So we were short, what was it, 99.50, 99.75. You had this nice move into the end of the day. Now, one of the great things about these fixed horizontal algorithmic pivots it allows you to manage the trade. You know, having traded for over 40 years, one of the things that always drove me nuts is trying to figure out where to take profits. I mean, it's hard enough to get into a good trade, right? But then you drive yourself crazy trying to figure out, do I let it run? Do I take off profits? So the way we trade is in thirds. So once that trade starts moving in the intended direction and you get 3 or 4 handles out of it, you take your first third off the table. And you had an opportunity down in here into the multi-day trend pivot. Then you get a move right back up here to the X5 institutional pivot, and this is the day that X5 pivot was generated, and then it fails. So as it comes down into the long cycle pivot, we take a little bit more profit. We take our middle. So if you're trading in thirds, the idea is you take that first third as soon as it goes 3 or 4 handles in your favor, and then you adjust your stop. And then you look for a spot to take the middle. And then after that, that last piece, the last third, is what we call the runner, and you let the runner run. Now, what's interesting about today, these orange pivots run off very, very long cycles. So this swing trade pivot is actually an amalgamation of many, many, many days of X5 pivot data. So this swing trend pivot up here at 3405 and this backtest pivot down here, you can see how beautifully it traded between those two. So when it came down here into the end of the day, it was what, after 3:30. This was a spot where you could have taken the trade off completely if you don't like to carry positions overnight, or if you don't want to get whipped out of that last piece of the trade into the end of the day. You got to move back up here to 33.97. Now we took off 2/3 of the trade down into this. I expected this type of late day shenanigans. We saw it yesterday. I call it shenanigans when they whip the market up and down in the last 15, 20 minutes. I left one piece of the trade on, and then we reloaded the trade right into the close. And after we did that in Globex tonight, we took, what was it? About 6, 7 handles on the first third, about 7 or 8 on the second. So we had locked in about 15, 16 handles, moved the stop to our entry, and you know, if they take the stop out, it's still a real nice trade. But this is the precision that you have with these algorithmic pivots. So when the trade does work in the intended direction, you're not driving yourself nuts trying to figure out where to take profits. So let's move on. Couple things that bothered me today. There was a lot of happy talk on financial media today. I mean, if you listen to these folks on TV, you'd think that right here at 3,400 we're majestically starting a brand new bull market. Well, that may be so. But when I look at the chart, all I see as price goes up into these key algorithmic pivots is a whole lot of selling. And every time it came up into this area, you saw these moves down, some of them, you know, pretty quick. Now look, it isn't Aunt Mary and Uncle Bob that are sitting up here laying in wait to liquidate S&P futures positions at 3405.77. And by the way, I understand that S&P doesn't trade 77 cents on a handle. The algorithm outputs the data to 2 decimals. But this wasn't Aunt Mary and Uncle Bob waiting for this. And this wasn't Aunt Mary and Uncle Bob who were sitting down here waiting at the algorithmic backtest pivot of ours to buy. But every one of these levels is identified before the day started. Now, you came down, you broke the daily bull bear pivot, you came down to the next algorithmic level, which was your backtest pivot, and then you got this nice bounce. So, you know, who knows if they whip this thing over 3,400 tonight. They might. We've got a Fed meeting tomorrow, but you know, you take profits incrementally. You take what the market gives you. You don't overtrade. You don't get stubborn long. You don't get stubborn short. You trade algorithmically. That means you base your entries on algorithms, and you base your risk management, your profit taking, algorithmically as well. And it's beautiful because it takes the stress out of it. You're not having to, again, drive yourself nuts trying to figure out where to take profits when you have these precise algorithmic levels that it wants to trade up and down between. Now, here's a couple things that bothered me. JP Morgan, 4% move today from your pre-market high up here near 103.40 down to your low. I don't like that at all. And as if that's not bad enough, this is Citigroup. No, that's not. That's Bitcoin. We're going to get to that in a minute. This is Citigroup. Now, 4% move from morning high to low in JP Morgan. That's bad enough. Citigroup, look, this up here, this isn't 2 weeks ago, 2 months ago. This is yesterday. Yesterday. This video is being recorded 9:20 Eastern Time on Tuesday, September 15th. This is yesterday. 14% move in Citi from yesterday, what was it? About 11:30. 14% in a little over one trading day. Now, see, this is where you theatrically take your glasses off, put them on the table because you're incredulous. So there were a few quote-unquote reasons given. Well, they're being investigated for this or that. I don't know who's investigating them. I don't care if every branch of the federal government is investigating Citi. That's 14%, gang, in a day. Now, I look back on the chart, and I don't know if I have the long cycle here on JP Morgan. I posted it on Twitter. By the way, if you want to follow our Twitter feed, it's at MC2085. Website's mercurysignals.com. You can email me at markanthony@mercurysignals.com. This is problematic. And I went back and looked at the long cycle for JP Morgan's chart. I posted that on Twitter tonight. The only analog, the only precedent for the kind of daily volatility that we've seen in JP Morgan lately was previous instances of, quote, plumbing problems in the banking system. I am not predicting that. All I can say is when you see the talking heads on financial TV that are coming, and I'm not talking about the hosts, I'm talking about the people from XYZ firm and this institutional and blah, 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 and they're blowing all this smoke up your dress, all this happy talk. And you see this in the banks. I got news for you, folks. I've been doing this over 40 years. When they come on TV and en masse are that bullish, when this kind of stuff is happening, you better believe when they're coming on TV telling you to be bullish, there are people back at the shop are selling in every one of these rallies. So please be careful. Whether you're trading long or short, and we trade both sides of the market, that's what algorithmic trading is. You're not a bull or a bear. You're going with the algorithmic flow. You're following the elephant, so to speak. But regardless of which side you're trading this tape on, please be careful. Reduce your position size. Don't get married to your positions. Don't be stubborn long. Don't be stubborn short. I'm 100% Italian, and I can tell you a lot about being stubborn. Don't be stubborn, okay? Don't trade on wishes. Watch the algorithms. Watch your trading metrics, whatever you use. We encourage you to go to our website and find out more about our systems. We'll tell you a little bit about that later. All right, Bitcoin. We launched our Bitcoin algorithm yesterday. Could not have picked, I mean, we couldn't have written a script any better for this. And just like our ES and NQ systems, you have a combination of the moving algorithmic time price oscillators that weave in and out of the chart, as well as the fixed algorithmic pivots. So we'll show you those little pieces separately. There's Citi again, I'm sorry. So here you have an example from August 31st to September 3rd about how beautifully price respects the algorithmic oscillators in Bitcoin. So let's take a look at today. Actually, this is yesterday, forgive me. We'll show you today in a minute. Daily Algo Bull Bear Pivot. We put that out for all the instruments in our trading systems. That algo is run over 90 minutes before the market opens. The Bull Bear Pivot yesterday, 10,383. You had a 400 plus handle move off of this. Now, the daily bull bear pivot is just what the name implies. We actually started putting this line in yellow because just like when you go up to a stoplight, if it's yellow, you got to make a decision whether you're going to go through or you're going to stop. The bull bear pivot is very, very binary. This is a key institutional metric. I mention on all our videos, folks, that these are the exact algorithmic time cycle metrics that institutions use. Now, how can we make that claim? A, we know it's true, and B, you cannot have this kind of to the tick accuracy day after day after day. We've been publishing these systems since Thanksgiving of 2019. It does these kind of things every day. So you had a 400 handle move off price acceptance above the daily bull bear pivot. Here we have our Mercury bands, and you can see this move extended today up into the Mercury band up at 10,979. $4. Mercury band 10,979, your high was 10,974, 75, one of the two. So you use these, and these Mercury bands are very long cycles. So just like you use the day trade metrics that I showed you over here, the Mercury bands are much, much longer cycles. The Mercury bands for ES, for example, those are recalculated easy for you to say, every evening between 5 and 6 p.m. after the full market closes. That hour that it's closed, we run the algos. Now for NQ and for Bitcoin, the Mercury bands are run once a week on the weekend. So these levels, and again, you don't get this kind of accuracy if you're not running the exact same algorithms that the institutions paid millions and millions of dollars to develop. These Mercury bands are run on Sunday before the market opens. You come up into, now whenever you've got two Mercury bands close together like this, that's a big deal. So you had this move up, that's where you would take profit if you're long, or incremental profit if you wish. You had this move down, and this was last night, you had this move up. Move down, gathers itself, daily bull bear pivot for today, 10,728. And the way you trade the daily bull bear pivot is real simple. When price is underneath and coming up through, above that level, you're either long or you're flat, period. There is no other alternative. When price comes down below the bull bear pivot, comes back up above, at that point when you get price acceptance above the daily bull bear pivot, you have two choices, long or flat, period. You don't sit in a short and let this thing, ram 50, 100 handles in your face. When price is above and goes through the daily bull bear pivot, you have two choices. You're short or you're flat. So price above or price coming down that holds and goes up. It's real simple. Above the bull bear pivot, you're long or you're flat. Below the bull bear pivot, you're short or you're flat. Period. End of story. And we give you this metric 90 minutes before the market opens. So then you move back above the confluence of these two Mercury bands. You come up here, $4, folks. Now, keep in mind that the Friday close was, where was it? Friday close was in here, like what, a little under 10,300? So you have a move all the way up near 10,800 that stops $4 from a Mercury band level that we produced on Sunday. Okay, look, you're getting the same information that the institutions that are using that are moving the market. If this is the first video you've watched, please go back, take a look at the other ones, take a look at our Twitter feed, or better yet, you can go to our website at mercurysignals.com. You can check out our ES and NQ systems, our Bitcoin systems. Click the chart of the day. I haven't updated it with today's charts. Every day at the end of the day, we post two or three of the most interesting charts for ES or NQ or Bitcoin. You can click our weekend market reports. We don't put those out every week. We want to have a reason to put out a market report. So every couple of weeks they're out. The last one is really interesting. And of course, you can check out the subscriptions on that page. So enough about that. MercurySignals.com. Now, here you see the fixed algorithmic pivots. Now let's take a look at the chart overlay. Actually, there's one more I want to show you, and then we'll take a look at the day trading Bitcoin chart for today. This is our long cycle oscillator. You come up into support here, and this was yesterday. There's two long cycle trend oscillators. You've got this solid orange line and the dashed white line. And let me just go over here for a minute. We'll go back to, here we go. So this is the live chart for Bitcoin. Day trade algos on the left, swing trade algos on the right. Let's zoom that bad boy in. Bad girl, whatever your preference. Nice girl. I'm getting myself in a hole here. I'm sorry. So the oscillators, you have the same metrics on both charts. You have two white algorithmic oscillators and two orange. The white ones are a shorter cycle. The dashed white one is the fastest. And then slower than that is the white oscillator. And then your trend oscillators are the orange ones. The solid line orange one is a slower moving algo oscillator, and you can tell by how flat the slope is. Let me pull this back a minute. Now, this purple pivot, this is called the matrix pivot. And just like the daily bull bear pivot, where you're long above, you're short below, this is a dynamic moving version of the bull bear pivot. And so when you're in a position, for example, if you're short up here, there's no reason to get out of this. It hasn't even come close to it. Now it comes down here. If you hadn't taken some profits on a short position already, this is where you take them. Now, when this starts to curl back up, then you get this whole structure start back up again. So this is the matrix pivot on the day trade algo, and you can see how beautiful that trades. This is Sunday. You get, and this happens more often than not on Sunday, and a lot of Globex opens on the weekday. You get this little fake out move, and then when you recover the matrix pivot, you're off. I mean, literally, you had one decision on Sunday. Price comes above the matrix pivot, boom. Now, look at how precise this is. You get this extension bar up here to the tick into the white algo oscillator. And that's not even a pullback. I mean, the next bar starts, you have a couple of handles. And then you get this move up here into the orange, the dashed orange oscillator is trend number 1. This is trend number 2 with the longer cycle. Now, over here, swing trade. You're up into, in this, here we go. Same metaphor here. The white line oscillators, those are faster. The trend oscillators, the dashed one is trend 1. This is trend 2. Trend 2 has a much longer cycle. And, you know, you get a move up here, and this is what Bitcoin's going to be wrestling with over the next couple of days as my voice cracks. You take out trend oscillator number 2, and you can really see some upward movement. But it's really nice having the day trade metrics and the swing trade metrics side by side, because if you're a day trader, you want to know what the bigger picture longer term looks like. And if you're a longer term trader, well, you want to get the best entry on a swing trade, and you cross-reference that by using the day trade algo. So very, very simple. So now that you've seen the live chart, and this is exactly what you get, folks. Institutional level algorithms on our Bitcoin trading platform. If you trade Bitcoin, we're offering a special introductory rate. The rate is not going to stay as low as we're offering for the launch, which was yesterday. And because of that, we give you a lifetime rate lock. So you can get the introductory pricing and keep this till kingdom come. Rates will never go up. You get a lifetime rate lock. So if you're a Bitcoin trader, please, you're going to want to take a look at that. All right, so last couple of slides. So here we've got the live chart information. This is the day trade algo. And here we have all the labels. So here's your Monday low. Mercury band again. that was produced on Sunday. Mercury band at 10,313. Sunday Globex open, that key Mercury band, and all these Mercury bands are very, very long cycles. Even the short cycle is very, very long. We're talking about weeks and months, okay? The Mercury band long cycle just happens to be longer, but short cycle, this doesn't mean this is real short term. These are very long, well-established algorithmic pivots. So you don't get a push below the Mercury band that sticks. You get price acceptance above. It comes, and by the way, when you get a confluence of these oscillators, moves directionally above or below tend to be very strong. So you get this move up, comes right up to the dashed orange trend algo. Come right down, beautiful back test, comes up a second time, another perfect back test. Now, this first one came down a little bit below the matrix pivot. This one was a bullseye, and you get these two back tests to the matrix pivot, the purple hash, and then when you take out that trend algo, you're gone. Now, what do you get here? You get a bear trap. You've had quite a move down in Bitcoin lately, and when you see this, folks look at this over here and say, it's going down again. Well, it doesn't. It comes down, little back test below the trend algo. Once it gets price acceptance back above it, the shorts get squeezed and you're off. So that's Monday. You come into Tuesday's daily bull bear pivot at 10,728. Come up here close to the Mercury band, a little pull back to the matrix pivot. And, it's not a big deal when price probes a little bit below that. What you don't want to see in this case, if you're long, you don't want to see price acceptance, sustained trade below the matrix pivot. Matrix pivot holds. And look, if you were long and you got out of that position there, that's fine. But once price gets back above the matrix pivot, takes out this bar, if you're trading the long side, that's an opportunity, if you wish, to get long again. Then you come up here literally to the handle at the Mercury band at 10,847. I mean, that was picture perfect. Get a move up that pulls back. And again, these are risk management tools. So if you're long and you want to book some profits into this, that's what you do. If you want to take off the position, you do that as well. Gets a little bit choppy in here, but where does it find support? Daily bull bear pivot that was run prior to 8 a.m. Eastern time this morning. Perfect. Right back to the daily bull bear pivot. And then you're off again. So this is this screenshot was taken right into 4 o'clock. So again, daily bull bear pivot. You have this move down here that holds. Now, if it comes down to the bull bear pivot and it doesn't want to go below, then if you're nimble, you can take that long trade. But of course, after this kind of move, you want to tighten up your stops and manage your risk. But this is how you put all this together with the algorithmic oscillators flowing through the chart, in addition to the fixed algorithmic pivots. So it's beautiful the way this works. And it's a testament to how accurate these algos are, that you can take something as ephemeral as Bitcoin. Bitcoin, and I got to tell you, about a year ago, when I had a request to develop one of our algorithms for Bitcoin, I thought, there's no way. It's not going to work on Bitcoin. I mean, what is a Bitcoin? And then I thought about it. Wait a minute. If it's an ethereal product, can you hold a Bitcoin in your hand? If it's a purely mathematical product, then it should trade purely algorithmically, right? And I got to tell you, I was blown away when we saw what the algorithms do. Because look, we don't curve fit this stuff. One of the biggest scams in the world is when people try to sell you trading systems, and they'll say, well, it had XYZ performance in such and such a period, and then you find out it doesn't do what they said, because they curve fitted the system to perform at that specific period they tested. So they manipulate the metrics to fit some past period. We don't do that. We do mathematical algorithms, and when we put them on the chart, they work in any time frame. Long, short, intermediate, pick your style. Day trading, swing trading. We don't curve fit any of this. Math works. What I always say is math, don't trade without it. So that's our Bitcoin trading system. Again, if you want to find out more about it, go to mercurysignals.com. In each of our evening videos, we don't do these every night, but every video that we do going forward will also have a look at our Bitcoin system as well. I want to thank you so much for your time, and I want to end our video. We try to end all the videos this way. Look, I'm not preaching to you. That's not what I'm here for. But everybody's going through difficult times. I don't care how much money you have. Things are difficult. People are suffering just severe bouts of depression. Look, humans were not created to live in isolation. We're created to have fellowship with one another. And so it doesn't matter how much money you have. Everybody is struggling to deal with the nonsense that's going on right now. And I'm not going to get into the political aspect. That's not important. I just want to say this. If you're trying to deal with what's going on, and listen, this has nothing to do with trading. Whether you're interested in what we offer, whether you go to our website, whether you don't, is not the point. If you've never thought about having a relationship with God, I cannot think of a better time than right now. People will let you down. Businesses will let you down. Unfortunately, sometimes governments will let you down. God will never leave you. He will never forsake you. So I encourage you to think about that if you haven't ever thought about it before. You'll be glad you did. Your family will be glad you did. God loves you, wants to have a relationship with you. And that is way more important than anything we talked about on this video up to this point. So as always, we thank you for your time. God bless you. God bless your family. And we hope to see you again real soon.